All right, we're going to totally switch things up now on this Friday because one of the most anticipated movies of the summer is out today. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey premiered today. It's got an all-star cast, and it tells the story of Homer's 12,000-line epic poem. That poem is considered one of the most influential pieces of writing in human history. So here to help break it down for us is Greek literature expert and assistant professor in the University of Iowa Department of Classics, Celsiana Warwick. Celsiana, thank you so much for being here with us today. I want to start with how important the Odyssey is. What is the impact it's had on human history?
Well, the DNA of the Odyssey and its structure of storytelling is so deeply embedded in the history of European literature, and then all literature is impacted by European literature. So it really has affected, to this day, a lot of the ways that we think about how stories should be told and what makes a good story.
What do you mean by that? What makes the Odyssey a good story that someone might notice in stories today?
Well, for example, the Odyssey starts in medias res, in the middle of the action. So, like, this is something that we think of as being like maybe very modern, maybe even cinematic. But this narrative device is in fact almost 3,000 years old. So, just an example of how the Odyssey, we think of it as being this really old poem that maybe we can't relate to, but because it has been so influential, it actually is still present in a lot of the way that we tell stories now.
Celsiana, how many times do you think you've read the Odyssey at this point?
It's really hard to say. A lot.
Am I getting this right? Did you learn Greek so you could read the original version?
That is true. Yes, I did. I really wanted to read the Odyssey and the Iliad in the original Greek because, every translation is a little bit different. I just really wanted to know what the original said.
Well, what about this story sticks with you? I'm imagining it might be something different every time, but is there certain scenes or moments or messages that you really hang on to?
Well, when I was a kid, I was all about the monsters, and the monsters are still a lot of fun, but I'm really interested in Penelope as a character now, and the sort of complexity of her struggle trying to maintain order on the island of Ithaca in Odysseus's absence, and trying to raise her son, who is now an adult and doesn't want to do what his mom tells him anymore, and her sort of moral dilemma of should she move out of the way, allow her son to become a man and become king and marry and leave, or should she continue to hold out and hope that her husband will come home even though he's been gone for so long? I find Penelope extremely fascinating.
We obviously don't want to spoil anything for our viewers, but really, what should people know about this story before they go see the film?
Well, I think probably they can go see it without any knowledge of the story. I would imagine that's how Christopher Nolan has constructed it. But I just want people to go in with an open mind, like thinking, this is going to be a good time. It's a really good story. It has depth and layers and complexity, but it's also, it was created to be appealing to a broad audience of ancient listeners of oral poetry. So it has appeal for many different kinds of people with many different kinds of interests, and I think that's still true today.
You know, there's a lot of this movie that, even from the trailer, really feels strikingly modern. It has caused some controversy online, but controversy aside, you have said that the Odyssey feels more modern than a lot of ancient texts. Why do you say that?
Well, I think that the Odyssey is really about family, which is something, not it's not just modern but timeless, right? Everyone can relate to this idea of, if your father has been gone for 20 years, if your husband has been gone for 20 years, how would that affect you? If you had been gone from your wife and son for 20 years, how badly would you want to get home? These kinds of relationships are something that, everyone can identify with and empathize with.
Well, if someone does want to go dive a little deeper, is there a particular translation that you would recommend?
So I always say that there's no one translation that is best because everybody's going to be looking for something a little bit different in a translation. And so the translation that is best for you is the one that you're most likely to read. So I say, go pick up a few different translations. If you go to the bookstore, there's probably going to be several together on the shelf. And just look at the language and see what is most appealing to you. Some people want something more poetic, some people want something more contemporary and accessible. And if that's what you want, Emily Wilson is a great place to start. But it might not do it for you, and that's fine.
Salciana, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. You said you were going to see the movie on Monday, is that right?
Yes.
All right, we'll have to check back in. We'll email about it. I would love to get your thoughts after this. Thank you so much for
Awesome. I
joining
look
us
forward to
today.
it. Yeah, thank
Hey,
you for having me.
if you guys at home want to share this story, you can find our online version up at WQAD.com. Just click on the As Seen on TV tab at the top of the homepage.